Robin K. Miller, who is now 55, worked as a corrections officer at Rikers Island. Miller worked in the system from 1983 to 1985. Rikers Island is New York City's main jail, spanning over 413 acres and housing 11,500 inmates. It sits on the East River between Queens and the mainland Bronx.
After working in the jail system for over 20 years, she wrote a blog post telling the story of her experience. This is what she said.
I'm not what you would expect a correctional officer to look like. I'm pretty tall and I stay in shape. I did some modeling when I was younger, so that automatically made it more difficult to work in a jail. I stood out from the crowd because I was not only a woman, but I would refuse to trade sex with my superiors for promotions. Female officers who came in with me would perform sexual favors so that they don't have to work within certain areas with the prisoners.
These women wanted special treatment. They didn't want to work with inmates or even work at all. By doing these favors, they could get out of a lot of it. My sister Teresa was also a corrections officer at Rikers, and she was a part of it.
I was assigned to C-67, which is the main building for male inmates. I would oversee up to 100 prisoners. Back then, most women would be assigned office duty or paperwork, but I was put down in the front. They recruited us as soon as we began working at the jail.
Any female officer that was halfway decent looking was targeted and placed in personnel to see who could score first. Most females who worked in my jail either had a family member who would call in favors for them or would screw with a boss or someone. I refused to take part in this. Inmates would also target female guards for sex.
Some of my fellow officers were so gullible and insecure that a con was exactly what it would take. The inmates watched us all day so that they knew who was vulnerable. Drugs were also a major problem at Rikers. Drug-dealing officers would target other guards, including my sister Teresa.
When you would cross the bridge to Rikers, everyone would start smoking weed. As a result of this type of environment, my sister and friend became addicted to drugs. My sister would work for 2 weeks straight, putting in overtime every day. As soon as she would get her check, she would spend it all on drugs.
One of our female officers had a house in Queens where she would gather other female officers and the wardens would come party with them. Officers who would deal drugs would make an extra $2,000 a week.
As you can tell from Miller's narrative, the jail system is pretty corrupt. Although Rikers Island is a short-term correctional facility, what the inmates experience can affect them for the rest of their lives. And as Miller said, this culture started long before the problems we're seeing today. It became a blueprint for what is being seen in modern day.